You're looking at one of the finest natural harbors in all of the Great Lakes. A place of fun and adventure and a destination for tourists anxious to see it in action.
I just like watching the boats come in.
And the anchors were awesome.
Tonight, come along as we explore the great port of Duluth as it wakes up for another busy season. Nothing moves after a frigid winter until the toughest guys in the harbor get to work.
Ice coverage out in the harbor is 9/10.
Climb aboard with the Coast Guard and a plucky little tug.
Get some speed up and hit this ice as hard as we can.
A lot of people would love to do what I'm doing, and I love it.
More than 1,000 giant ships arrive from around the world every year. Meet the guy who knows everything about every one of them. And someone please call the Beach Boys. Surfing on Lake Superior. I'm Jason Davis. Come along as we explore the great harbor of Duluth.
When we go on the road, there's a place I want to see. When we go on the road, why don't you come with me? Take a little ride, get a little windshield time. When we go on the road.
You know the saying, location is everything. Standing right here next to the twin ports of Duluth and Superior, we're roughly 2,300 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. This is the farthest inland seaport in the world. Its freighters from around the globe deliver 30 to 40 million tons of cargo every season, making it one of the busiest ports in the nation. That's an amazing achievement since everything literally freezes to a standstill for 2 months every year. Yet every spring, this vast enterprise begins to stir, and the first thing that moves is a plucky little ship called the Coast Guard cutter Alder. It's mid-March, and ship owners are anxious to get their vessels back to work. So the crew of the Coast Guard cutter Alder prepare to do battle with the remnants of winter.
Ice coverage out in the harbor is 9/10, ranging from anywhere between 10 inches out here in front of us to about 18 to 24 over in the basin.
This is not the first time the Alder has been out this year. In the main channel, what was solid ice is now a mess of tangled, broken, refrozen slabs of what they call brash.
And once you break it once, the pressure that the ice is under is relieved. So
and you broke it in January?
We've broken it in January, but it's set up and refroze.
The Alder is one of the latest additions to the Coast Guard fleet. We were there in Marinette, Wisconsin 4 years ago when she was launched with a spectacular splash. 6 months later, the Alder was in Duluth, ready to provide search and rescue, environmental protection, homeland security, aids to navigation, and of course, ice breaking. As the 225-foot-long ship heads under the bridge that connects Minnesota and Wisconsin, the work gets harder. The approaches to iron ore docks that will soon be loading ships are still solid ice.
We want to make certain the port's ready for them as soon as they need it.
Down below, the Alder's engines don't lose a beat as the sturdy little ship plows into solid ice that's at least 1.5 feet thick. The two diesels produce a total of 6,000 horsepower to drive a single propeller that provides a lot of thrust. The Alder slows, but it doesn't look like stopping. Ahead of the blunt reinforced bow, the ice creaks and groans, but gives way in jagged splits that look like miniature earthquakes. It is exciting work, especially for rookie sailor, 21-year-old Chris Schleifer from Zimmerman, Minnesota, who's just out of boot camp.
That's why I kind of joined the Coast Guard, for thrill and excitement.
During operations, the bridge of the Alder is crowded with personnel. Those not on watch take the opportunity to grab lunch, which on this day was a toasted sandwich with fries and as much pop or coffee as you can drink. Commander Worth keeps a wary eye on everything as they all try to open up this vitally important harbor.
I think tonnage-wise, Duluth is in the top 20 ports in the United States. And that's despite the fact that 2 months out of the year, the ports close down because of the winter season.
Just a few weeks later, and the first ships of the season are arriving from around the world to unload cargoes. This vessel has arrived with huge sections of wind generator towers from Europe. The twin ports of Duluth and Superior are beginning to stir. In a forgotten corner of the harbor, a line of broken down old barges and dredges are rusting, listing and sinking. One of these ancient floating platforms is needed for a construction project elsewhere in the port, but its destination is still covered in ice. At the helm of a 50-year-old tugboat, owner and captain Franz von Riedel sets out to clear out the slip before he can deliver the barge.
We'll get some speed up and hit this ice as hard as we can. It should be pretty soft though, it's been pretty nice lately.
I've met Franz before. In the summer of 1998, we watched as he and his father Bruce operated a unique floating store that supplied visiting ships with souvenirs and groceries. 20-year-old Franz told us their enterprise was a throwback to days gone by.
They were selling beer and it was banned on the ships in the late 80s, and that was the end of the bumboat business.
Today, this young entrepreneur owns a fleet of 6 tugboats here and on the East Coast. Not only that, but he's written several books about ships and tugs, and he's just 30 years old. He's obviously done a lot of things right, but he's wrong about this ice.
It's a little harder than I thought.
This ice was proving to be a challenge for the little tug. I saw a piece that had to be 3 feet thick. Time and again, Franz backed up his sturdy little craft for another run at the frozen surface. The effort was severely punishing the hull of the tug, which wasn't really built for such a tough task. But the work was nothing short of exhilarating for her young skipper.
Every day it's something different. It's a lot of hard work. I work 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day. You got to give your life to it if you're going to be successful in it. It's not easy, but I really enjoy it. It's something I'm good at.
After a brutal hour or two, the ice in the slip was broken into huge, shattered pieces that are easily pushed out of the way. So Franz points the bow of the Anna Marie Altman towards the old barge. The work is hard and jobs are few. So Franz and his determination are a legend in these parts, especially when most of the jobs have been going to the well-established Great Lakes towing fleet.
First few years were really tough.
I bet it was.
It's hard competing with a company that's got 37 tugs.
It's the end of winter and the beginning of a new season on the greatest harbor on Lake Superior. Casual visitors to Duluth enjoy watching the big ships steaming under the famous lift bridge, but behind the scenes, the vital but not so glamorous work of the port goes on.
If I can keep the guys working and keep a nice fleet maintained, then I'm happy.
As the tough work goes on in the harbor, others watch with great interest.
I mean, I couldn't really believe that these big boats were in the middle of the United States.
Coming up, see how this enthusiast helps visitors catch sight of these giants from around the world. But this guy with the microphone is after something else. See what he does with this familiar sound. And find out why this unpredictable lake in the wintertime is a hot spot for surfing.
I had the best surf session I've had, maybe in my life.
Welcome back as On the Road explores the busy port of Duluth, our watery link to the ocean. Every visitor has the same question: when's the next giant ship going to steam through the canal? Well, thanks to a Twin Cities native, they can find out every day. It's printed right here in the Duluth Shipping News. The black and white one-page sheet includes what time the vessel can be expected to show up, The ship's name, how big it is, what it's carrying, and where it's come from and where it's going. It's vital information if you want to be on the ship canal in time to see one of the most dramatic and colourful sights in Minnesota. Duluth Shipping News was created by a familiar face in Canal Park. Ken Newhams, a Twin Cities implant, who was amazed by what he saw when he first visited this city more than a decade ago.
I couldn't really believe that these big boats were in the middle of the United States.
But Ken quickly learned no one had any idea what the ships were doing here.
It's like, what's in that boat? And they said, I don't know. And I said, you know where it's going? No.
So for the last 12 years, we've watched him work as reporter, editor, photographer, writer, salesman, and publisher of the Duluth Shipping News, none of which makes him any money.
My mother's proud of me. But when you run a business...
But your banker is not.
No.
Undeterred, Ken Newhams is trying to support his daily paper and monthly newsletter in a lot of other ways. He sells DVDs about the harbour and its maritime traffic, a new jigsaw puzzle features his photographs, and he's even selling a pack of cards that all feature pictures of ships. Over the past few years, there's been a dramatic increase in tourism to the harbour, Duluth and the North Shore, and naturally visitors don't want to miss what they came to see.
It's pretty exciting and it's pretty interesting. I look out my window and I see the lift bridge go up and down, and there are people that drive for hours just to see it. People that haven't been in Duluth in a long time, and they just love to sit and watch.
And they can, with a lot of help from the only man in Duluth that takes the trouble to gather the information, put it together, print it, and deliver it to boxes around Canal Park and all the hotels in the area.
I create something every day, and that's fun.
Sounds of splashing waves, of bells and gulls may be music to the ears of those that go down to the sea in ships, but you wouldn't expect to hear them in the form of classical music. Well, we found a young composer who finds his inspiration right here on the waterfront. Only in a great harbour can you hear the romantic and evocative sounds of ships and the sea. And here, at the entrance to the port of Duluth, Ryan Rapsis can often be found carefully recording these maritime noises.
You know, there's a lot of unique sounds particular to this place.
Sounds like the bell that rings as the famous lift bridge goes up and down. And the unusual noise made by the traffic as it hums across the steel deck. 27-year-old Ryan is a talented composer of electronic music and was recently asked to compose a work for local choreographer Lisa McCann.
She wanted to do a dance piece with music that was created out of sounds of the harbor.
Ryan has already made a name for himself by scoring a popular disc that comes with North Shore photographer Craig Blacklock's latest book. 3 hours of non-stop music that accompanies the photographs and videos.
I'm also very interested in working with recorded sounds, and that in combination with live performers.
To create a modern melodic musical composition, Ryan records the raw sound of the lift bridge's bellowing horn, then heads to his studio.
That's the bridge signal to the ship, yeah.
Okay. Using a keyboard and a battery of computers and amplifiers, he weaves the ear-splitting blast with other sounds he's gathered.
You know, it's a familiar sound, and then taking it to that next step and kind of working it into music.
Finally, the odd assortment of tones are transformed into music to dance to, in an interpretive performance called Industrial Breakdown. We think Ryan should head over to Superior, Wisconsin for the sound of flavored brats being made.
The bacon cheddar Cranberry wild rice is a good one. Apple's a very good one.
Coming up, a mecca for meat lovers. Plus, we'll show you the perfect way to enjoy a wild nor'easter on Great Lake Superior.
It's a lake, but get enough wind coming across and it makes big waves.
Seen our toad hitch around the harbour anywhere? If you spot him tonight, let us know at KSTP.com and you may be eligible for an on-the-road souvenir. As the harbour comes to life, tourism begins to flourish here in the Twin Ports. There are the must-see and traditional icons like the historic iron ore carrier William Irvine, and just across the slip, the recently retired Coast Guard cutter Sundew. There's the aquarium and the IMAX Theatre, the Maritime Museum, and what would a trip to Duluth be without a stroll along the famous Lake Walk? There's no end of choices of places to eat, and if you're looking for a special snack or something to take home or up to the cabin, try one of the best-kept secrets in the Twin Ports. It's called Superior Meats for several reasons. It's on Tower Avenue in the city across the bridge, and according to butcher Mike Cragen, it is brat heaven.
I think we make, about 22 different kinds of brats?
Yeah, about that.
That's just the brats.
49-year-old Cragen has been a butcher all his working life, but he says this store beats them all.
You get stuff here that you can't find other places.
That's probably true. The meat counter at this former IGA store is nearly 70 feet long, the second longest in Wisconsin, so they say. Every inch is packed with all kinds of smoked sausage, bacon, jerky, seasoned meats, kebabs, roll-ups, and a complete array of fresh roasts and steaks. But it's the sausages that are the most popular with the customers, some of whom come from many miles away. Not a day goes by when Mike Cragen, with a deft flick of the wrist, doesn't wind up loads of brats.
On a busy weekend in the summer, we'll go through 1,500 pounds of sausage. Memorial Day is when business really kind of takes off. People start opening cabins.
Everything here is hand-prepared by the professional meat cutters. Mike Cragen says the prices may be a tad over what you might pay in a supermarket, but there is a secret ingredient.
We're pretty old-fashioned here. We really pay attention to quality. Anybody who lights up a grill, they head here first.
If you'd like more information about Superior Meats or any of the stories you've seen tonight, just go to our website at KSTP.com, scroll down, and look for On the Road. We started putting this program together when it was still winter around these parts, and one day we were surprised to see, not far from this famous bridge, some plucky young men practicing a sport that's more suited perhaps to Hawaii or California. Even for the ever-changing Lake Superior, this weather is unseasonable and for most people unwelcome. A savage northeaster, the same fearful wind that sank the Edmund Fitzgerald in 1975, has swept across the vast reaches of the lake and brought huge rolling seas against the north shore. Some people brave the biting wind to look in awe at the raging lake. Others get ready to take part in a very rare and dangerous water sport that we just don't expect to see around these parts.
The best time to surf up in Minnesota is the dead of winter.
15, 20.
industrial area with little appeal to tourists. Today, the harbour is a summer-long extravaganza, playing to 3.5 million visitors every year. I'm Jason Davis. Drive carefully, and we'll see you next week.